Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mr. Mo Dynasty. It's episode 33, and in this episode, we are going to take us up to the All-Star break as we approach the second All-Star game in this series. How many people from our team will make it? Let's find out.
One more thing about that draft that we just had. We went 18-year-old, 21-year-old, 18, 18, 18, 18. I mean, we went extremely young with our draft, which is what you need to do when you are somewhat limited with your budget. And so I'm really excited about that. It is July 12th, and it's the last game before the All-Star break. Roll a D30. We rolled and got a no event. So let's go ahead and simulate. We need to try to salvage this game in this 4-game series in Minnesota to get to 500 for this season. We do not. We're going to go ahead and do the home run derby. And we are going to simulate it. But once again, we want to go ahead and sim this so that they actually keep the stats to put it into their trophy case. I heard if you simulate this, it doesn't go in there. So we're going to go ahead and sim the home run derby for 2026. And we are going to have Juan Soto defeat Shohei Ohtani, I think is what they're saying. Is that how it looks? No. Soto beat Ohtani, and then Soto beat Henderson. Okay. So Soto, congratulations. You are the champion of the home run derby. Congratulations. Very curious to see who is our all-star. Let's go ahead. Let's. We're gonna. If there's any player that we have, let's go ahead and simulate it. Oh, that's not us. So let's go ahead and sim to the date. And let's see who our all-star was. We didn't make a starting pitcher. We didn't make a relief pitcher. Karinchak made it as a closing pitcher. And he, look at his awards, All-Star Appearance 2026. He has saved 28 and blown 6 with a 2.87 ERA. We did not make catcher. We did not make first base. We did not make second base. We did not make third base. Oh, look at this. Colson Montgomery. All-Star in both 2025 and 2026. Now, was this deserved? I don't know. 230. I don't know sometimes how they figure these things out. Maybe his defense? Is his defense phenomenal? He's a negative .4 WAR player. So explain to me how he made the All-Star team again? Sometimes MLB The Show is confusing. And nobody else makes it from our team. Brent Rooker. Wow, 91. Good for Brent Rooker. So there it is. We have 2 All-Stars. We have Colson Montgomery. And we have our closer in James Karinchak. Very interesting. We do close out the first half 47-49. The futures game. This would be fun. Player lock. Who could we player lock? We could do Sebastian Walcott just for fun. Yeah, why not? So we're going to do a little player lock with Sebastian Walcott in the futures game. This isn't going to count for anything, but just for fun. They really are high on Sebastian Walcott. He's our AA shortstop. He's hitting currently .236 on the season. Bases are loaded for Sebastian, facing Cristobal Barreto. That was your pitch, Sebastian, with the 38 clutch and the 39 power. And he's going to hit this back up the middle for an RBI single. That'll score 1, and it's going to score 2. And Sebastian Walcott, showing why he's in the futures game, ties the game at 2. Nice job, Sebastian Walcott. And we have nobody out. And we're going to try to take out that guy. And we're going to hit into a double play. Our team will. 5-4-3 double play. And we will advance. Condon hit a 2-run homer, so we're down 4-2. Runner on first. And now we're facing Nixon Norman. That's going to be, unfortunately, a double play ball. 6-4-3. And Walcott hits into the double play. So he's had one good at bat and one bad at bat. And now he's facing Dylan Urbina. And he swings on the curveball and misses.
0-1's the count. Ball.
Takes that pitch for 1-1 count.
1-1.
That was his pitch. Probably not going to see a better pitch than that one, Sebastian. Good foul on the cutter, though. He's already given us both RBIs for our American League futures. And he got a lot of that ball. But it's going to be caught. That may be his last at bat. Nope. He's going to get one more chance, and it's 5-5 in the top of the 9th with 1 out. He's facing Zach Maxwell. 4-pitch mix.
Nope. That's
Good eye
inside.
from Sebastian. Still a couple years away in our system. They're saying he's future, yeah, in about 4 years.
Ball 2.
Taking that pitch 2-0. I feel like we've got a lot more people in the organization that are going to get to the show a lot faster than Sebastian, but they definitely like his potential. That is for sure. Fortunately, though, he's going to ground this out to first base, and that will be his last appearance, I imagine. Nope, we are not doing that. Simulate and exit. And we lose it. 6-5. I don't play defense on the first person. So we go and simulate that. We got our at-bats. We went 1 for 4, 2 RBIs, into double play. We'll simulate that game. And we'll move on to the 16th. And it says trade deadline 1. It's time for the team to possibly be buyers or sellers. We're 6.5 out of that, but for the wild card, we are a game and a half, so we are buyers if we want to be. Are there seller teams? And even if there are, what would we buy? I'm going to go ahead and exit this time, and I'll tell you what I decide.
So it didn't record my audio when I recorded this next clip, so I'm just going to go back and redub it. So I decided to look at some things for the trade deadline, and I felt that James Karinchak would give us the best opportunity to trade someone of value because he's had such a great year, and there's teams always looking for closers and relief pitchers in the trade deadline. So I went ahead and put him on the trade deadline trade block, as much as I appreciated his services. And I went ahead and put second base, third base, and shortstop on our list of possible trade pieces back. Just looking at the roster here, from what I remember, I'm just looking at we don't really have a great answer at second base. Tristan Gray, I mean, he's hitting 250, which is fine for 67 overall, but Lennon Sosa is a 72 overall. Brooks Baldwin's a 70 overall. While I love how much fun he provides for the channel, he's not the answer. And so, it's great to see Ivan Melendez starting to hit now. He's moving up in rankings. But is he the permanent answer for third base? Who knows? He could be a flash in the pan as a Rule 5. And so, yeah, look at James Karinchak's stats. What a great year he's had. And we signed him to a long-term deal, and I think it's a very valuable deal at $1.6 million. But with our team also looking to cut salary, that's getting rid of him is another way to get a little bit of salary back. And I would move John Curtis into the closing role as a Rule 5 guy. He's done extremely well. And that would probably be the option, and we would keep Ray Mata as a setup for now. And so that's the thought process from what I remember going into the trade deadline, was just see what we can get from him. So we're bumping up the trade frequency because that's what it also says to do on July 16th. And we are that's to simulate that the trade deadline starts to heat up as people start to realize, all right, we're getting closer to the trade deadline. I don't want a ton of trades before July in the game, but that's how I simulate that. Now we're on to July 17th, which was a Rule D20, and it says play full game, plus or minus D10 expenditure probability rating, which I went ahead and rolled that, and it was a 6. And so this game is going to impact our expenditure probability rating by a plus or minus 6 based on whether we win or we lose. But once again, this game was recorded, but the audio wasn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it down into small pieces and just show you some of the highlights. It was easy to skip the first 5 innings of this game against the Angels because, as you can see, it's 0-0. So through 5 innings, both pitchers had done a great job. And Drew Thorpe was up to, I believe at this time, 8 or 9 strikeouts. Let's see here. He was really working his slider pretty well in this game. His cutter was outstanding. I think you can see his confidence in his cutter and sliders were phenomenal. Nice play here by Tristan Gray. And so, through 5 1/3 inning, Drew Thorpe has given up no runs. And unfortunately, our offense wasn't really performing much either. And so we see Drew Thorpe has Nolan Schanuel up to a 2-2 count. But he is up to 92 pitches at this point in the game. So I figured there's another strikeout. Let's see. Are we at double digits at that point? That did give us our 10th strikeout at that point. So, and you can see Mike Trout has a couple strikeouts. So, he was dealing very well in this game. Drew Thorpe is fun to pitch with. A lot of these young pitchers I'm enjoying pitching with. The question is in Sims, can they come through for us? But definitely in play games, it's a nice mix of pitches that Drew Thorpe has. And he strikes out Mike Trout for the 3rd time. So we went into the bottom of the 6th inning in a scoreless game. And we had Pozo, Tatum, and Gray up. And you're thinking, that's probably bottom of the lineup. It's been a low-scoring game, 0-0. You're probably not going to get any runs for that part. Well, I didn't pick up in this part of the game for no reason. So they brought up Brock Burke, which I was happy at this point in the game. I remember playing this, that he was out of the starter was out of the game, because now we had a chance maybe to actually hit against somebody that we could have better odds against. And so at this point, I went ahead and warmed up a couple of our pitchers. Now let's get into the action here in the bottom of the 6th. Yoel Pozo against Brock Burke, featuring those 4 pitches. He got a favorable call there. Should have been a strike, or could have been a strike, we should say, but they didn't call it, so it was a 3-1 count. And leadoff walks. Those are ways in which teams who don't score a lot of runs can get on the board. And so I was very happy that a leadoff walk was what happened. And at this point, I think I was thinking about pinch hitting for Terrell Tatum. And I did, in fact, go to Von Brown, who, as a Rule 5 pickup, I don't think has been a steal, so to speak. He's hitting 183. So, Rule 5 pickup for a reason. We did swing for a lot of fences with the Rule 5, and I think a lot of them have panned out very well. Von Brown is probably one of those that as soon as next season comes, I'll probably re-sign and send down to the minors and see if he can work on his bat a little bit. because of all the Rule 5 people, he's probably been the biggest flop. And I think a lot of the Rule 5 people have been successful. But, yeah, 183, just not getting it done. But he's now going to be in our organization. And in this game, he took a walk. So, back-to-back walks from the new pitcher, Brock Burke, whose initials would be BB. And at this point, I would bring in, I think, Sosa or Brooks Baldwin. Of course, I'm going to bring in Brooks Baldwin, channel legend Brooks Baldwin. At this point, he was hitting 184, which isn't going to scare anybody, but it's Brooks Baldwin. And he lays down the bunt, and I thought it was a pretty good bunt, but the computer's good at throwing that ball the second. So we didn't quite get what we wanted. Instead of it being second and third and one out, it's first and third. But Brooks Baldwin did get the runner over to third base. And so in that case, and by the way, it's a nice play by Lugo. But it does bring up Ryan Clifford. At this point, he was hitting 285, but it's a lefty-on-lefty matchup. And would we be able to get the run in? Now, they're playing back for the double play ball, but Clifford does a good job of hitting this ball into left center field. And it would be enough to get the run in. We would go to the next inning, and I'd bring in John Curtis, who, if we do trade away our closer, he would become the closer for this team. And he faces Taylor Ward here in the top of the 7th. Don't want to get rid of Karinchak, but we are, let's face it, while we're close in the wild card standings, we are still a rebuilding team, and he is the asset that we have that other teams want right now. It's a full count on Taylor Ward, and he does a good job of fouling off the pitch, which you see a lot on 3-2 counts. You see foul balls. So we go with the fastball, and he promptly delivers it into center field. And just like that, the game was tied at 1-1 as John Curtis gives off the leadoff home run. Fortunately for us, though, that would be the only run that John Curtis would give up in this game. So we pick it up here in the bottom of the 7th. It's 1-1, and we do have a runner on first base with Alec Burleson up. And unfortunately, he's going to hit into the 3-6-3 double play. And it looked like a promising inning would go to waste. However, Jason Dominguez, 0 for 2 in the day, has a 3-1 count facing Drew Smith. And he decides to be a hero as he launches that ball deep into the right center field area, 462 feet. What a blast this was for Jason Dominguez, who is trying to earn that contract. It's his 11th home run of the year, but 462 feet gave the White Sox a 2-1 lead. So we would pick it up here in the 9th inning, 1 out. Mike Trout up with a 3-1 count, and James Karinchak trying to come in, and notice he is 4th in the AL in saves. So that's why he's a valuable trade piece, and he's trailing to Mike Trout here with a 3-1 count, but he gets back into the count with a 3-2 count, and then goes knuckle curve, which I thought was a bold choice to make against Mike Trout. He does do a good job fouling it off, and then we decided to go fastball and challenge him, and we struck him out looking, which was a big out to get, especially when you're down to Mike Trout with a 3-1 count. Karinchak battled back, and then it brought up the only offense for the Angels in Taylor Ward. He comprises all of their RBIs with that solo shot. So James Karinchak is facing the only hitter today for the Angels that has proven to be challenging for us. And I thought that was a ball that he could have driven if he would have been looking for it. Fortunately for us, he just fouls it off. That ball was right down the middle. So I decided to go with the knuckle curve with Karinchak, and Ward fouls the ball off again. Thought that was a much better located pitch, though. And then we get him on the fastball outside. Dominguez is going to make the catch, and we win the game, which means our EPR goes up by 6. A great win for the White Sox, even though the volume wasn't included. So this gives you an abbreviated look of that White Sox game as we defeat the Angels 2-1. A shorter episode today, as I just basically had to record the audio, and since there weren't a ton of offensive moments in the game, I felt like just clipping out most of the quote boring stuff would be the way to go for this video. So thank you for always for watching and subscribing, and smash that like button and tell a friend. The White Sox are maybe a wild card team. All right, thanks again. Have a great day.